This is the Play for Dream MR headset, and I've been using it for a few days now, trying it out on various PC VR titles primarily. The headset is standalone, but like the Quest 3, can also be used wirelessly for PC VR with virtual desktop. It features a small form factor microOLED displays at a huge resolution of 3840 by 3552 per eye, running at 72, 80 or 90 Hz refresh rate. It also features pancake lenses with eye tracking, which can be used for automatic IPD adjustments, as well as dynamic foveated rendering in certain situations. I recorded a first impressions video with this headset a few days ago in order to give some initial thoughts while playing, of course, Elite Dangerous. Since recording that video, I've been continuing to use the headset and have some further thoughts on the device overall. In this video, I'll show an abridged version of my first impressions, and then at the end, I'll give further details and context with some extra findings I've made, especially around the edge-to-edge clarity of the lenses. I've included timestamps in this video if you want to jump around, but it's probably worth watching the entire video to get the full context. But with that, let's get into it.
Immersed Robot.
So I'm currently in the Play for Dream MR headset here, and I'm tethered through virtual desktop wirelessly to my PC. I'm playing a little bit of Elite Dangerous. This is the legacy version here. But the Play for Dream MR headset is a standalone headset, but like the Quest 3, you can use virtual desktop, and it does have some inbuilt wireless functionality as well to connect it to a PC and play the game of your choice or your PC VR games and stuff like that. So I thought I'd jump in initially with this headset to give Elite Dangerous a try. I'm running this, let's launch first of all. I'm running this at the monster resolution. This is a new mode within virtual desktop specifically for this headset, but presumably it'll apply to other high resolution headsets as well at some point. But the resolution of this headset is around 3800 by 3500 per eye. I'll put the actual resolution on the screen now so you can just see that, but it uses micro OLED displays. So we've got the deep blacks and the vibrant colors of that OLED display in here, coupled with pancake lenses. It also has eye tracking, but I don't believe it just works off the bat with something like Elite Dangerous. Now, I'm just wanting to go in here and just play a little bit of Elite Dangerous because Elite is one of those games set in space, of course, and with these micro OLED displays, you're going to get the best image quality with those vibrant colours and the deep black levels, and you definitely do. So in virtual desktop, I am running this monster resolution, which does give, it actually has a render resolution according to SteamVR of the native panel resolution of this headset. Now I don't know if there's any, like with the barrel distortion correction as you usually get on VR headsets, where you have to render a multiplier of the base standard resolution of the displays in order to get a native resolution. That doesn't seem to apply with this headset, and I've heard in the past that sort of with pancake lenses, which this headset has, you don't necessarily need to render at a higher resolution to get that native display resolution as well. So we're running pretty high resolutions with this, and at 72 FPS as well, native. I did go in just to make sure I'm getting, pretty rock solid 72 FPS, quite honestly, in this. The thing that I noticed immediately when going in with this headset is, of course, it is incredibly high resolution. It looks fantastic. The clarity in the text on everything with this is really, really good. Now, the other thing is the edge-to-edge clarity on these lenses is not quite up to the other lenses that I've seen on like the Quest 3, for example. So the edge-to-edge clarity, if I look straight ahead and I look down to my bottom right, I can't really read that text at all over where it says mask locked. The edge-to-edge clarity on these lenses just doesn't seem quite right, unfortunately for me. Now, there's a caveat with that, and this is the big caveat which I'm going to get to for me with this headset. You might see on the camera, I don't know if you can or not, but I've sort of rigged together this little mod for the cradle at the back of this headset with a studio form top strap for a Pimax crystal. The reason I've done that is I cannot get a good fit on this headset at all, no matter what I do, and this is the closest I've got actually to dialing it in and getting it to cup the back of my head well enough. The reason is this is a rigid strap and it doesn't have any hinges here, so you can't adjust the position on your face with this headset in relation to the strap itself. And it feels to me like I'm wearing it way too high in order to get it to fit correctly on my face. Now, this has been mentioned a few times, actually. I've seen some other people mention this. Tyriel Wood has mentioned this, and he's actually quite active on the Play for Dream MR Mod channel on the Discord there. So I think he's created a face gasket, a 3D printable face gasket, which I haven't done yet. I may do that. I just still don't. It's not necessarily a problem with the face gasket. It's more a problem with the position of how high I have to wear this. And of course, maybe with a new face gasket, it might be a situation whereby I can change the position of this, and then this will the actual rigid strap will sit lower on the back of my head, which is where it feels like it needs to be. Which is why I'm using this studio form strap as sort of a little quick mod, really, to get it comfortable enough. The problem with that face gasket is then it feels like the lenses will be slightly out of position, if that's how it works. I don't know. I need to look into that a little bit more. But so, for example, it will seem like the lenses, rather than being parallel with my eyes, they'll be sort of they'll be tilted slightly away, or tilted that way. I'm not sure. So that means that I just don't know if that's going to have another detrimental effect on the lenses or not, to be honest. I need to try it. That's the thing. I think Tyriel is also working on a 3D printed mod for the cradle, although from what is said in the Discord, it doesn't seem like that's quite as successful as the face gasket. But then again, there'll probably be iterations of that. So that's my biggest complaint, really, with this headset so far. It is just the fit. For me, it just doesn't feel like I can get a comfortable position, or where the lenses feel like I'm really hitting that sweet spot. Now, it's got eye tracking, and it does have an IPD adjustment within the software, and it's got automatic IPD adjustment, so it will sort of see the positions of your eyes, give you an IPD range that it thinks is correct for you, and then you can sort of fine tune it. You can tweak it a little bit more, which is handy. And so I think I've got the IPD pretty much set perfectly, but the edge-to-edge clarity just isn't quite there, unfortunately. And like I say, it's probably due to the fit of this headset for me. The positives on this headset are, there's quite a few though as well. The colours really do look vibrant in this headset, among the best I've seen. The space background in Elite Dangerous looks fantastic too. I mean, the planet there, just flying past this planet, that really bright colour, the really vibrant colours of that planet as I'm going past it, and then the deep blacks of the background. There is some chromatic aberration though that I can see. So that telltale sign is there's like a slight rainbow effect around the edge of certain things, especially towards the edge of the lenses. Again, this might be because I can't quite get the fit of this headset right for me. So it could just be me, that I'm not sure. But apart from that, the image quality on this really, really high resolution and running at 72 FPS native looks great. There's a lot to be said for it. So this headset does have an XR2 Plus Gen 2, which is a slightly upgraded version of the chip that's in the Quest 3. Now, that obviously helps with the decoding of the image through virtual desktop. At least I would imagine so anyway. I'm not certain of that. But you would imagine that would help a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the difference between playing this at this level of resolution on my humble old 5080. As you know, I got a lot of comments about running the Pimax Crystal Super on a potato PC like the one I've got, which is a RTX 5080. So I'm well aware of the fact that it's not the most powerful GPU, but I think it's good enough, and it's doing a fantastic job with this headset at this ultra high resolution in virtual desktop at native 72. I don't know if I could push it a little bit more, actually. I might be able to get native 80 and 90. So the headset will allow you to run at 72, 80 or 90 hertz refresh rate in order to lock in the performance on your system. But yeah, this is really good. I don't suspect I'll be able to run the Odyssey version, the live version of Elite Dangerous at this frame rate or at these resolutions, but I'll certainly give it a try just to see, because I've got zero complaints about performance with this headset. Yeah, there's a lot to say. This is just a quick initial reaction. I have been sort of using it for a few days now in various things, but this is just a quick initial video to give some raw impressions of it anyway. And I'm going to experiment a little bit more. There's plenty of stuff that I want to try. I know this video is a little bit boring, me just flying around, but I find it difficult to do stuff and talk and think about everything that I'm seeing at the same time. So, I can't really multitask that well, it doesn't seem. But yeah, it really is impressive. I just wish I could get this fit better. That's the number one thing. The other thing I want to quickly mention is compression. I mean, I'm noticing no compression. So in virtual desktop, I'm using the AV1 codec. In fact, I should put a screenshot just of all my settings in virtual desktop so you can see those. But I'm noticing pretty much, I mean, I'm going to say zero compression. I can't see any compression artifacts at all. And people that are more sensitive to compression might see that, but I know what it was like. I remember seeing compression when I first started using AirLink and virtual desktop all those years ago, and I think there's been a steady increase in quality over that time. Even on the Quest 3, I struggled to see compression in a lot of things, really. And in this, I'm noticing very little. The image quality is, in my opinion, very close to like a tethered, like a crystal, something like that, crystal light. It's very close to that. There is a little bit of aliasing I can see, so it's not like there's no visible pixels, but when I look at the text, I can't see any pixels. But on the edge of the ship, like as you see on the edge of the window, just above that light, I could see a little bit of shimmering there, but there's not too much, and it's really not that noticeable. And the deep blacks of this micro OLED display are really, really impressive. I will say that. So there's a lot to test with this. Just a few initial thoughts there. Please leave some comments. I know I've missed a lot out, and I know I've missed a lot of stuff that people will want to know about this headset. So feel free to drop a comment, and I will try to get back to you with that, either in the comments or I'll make other videos as well regarding this. But yeah, the performance is rock solid, in spite of what you might see on the video. If it's a little bit stuttery or something like that, I am talking while I record this video, so that means that the headset can sort of jolt up and down a little bit as I'm talking, so there might be a little bit of stuttering or jittering that you see from that. Also, recording a 72 frames per second game at 60 FPS, which I'll have to for YouTube, then that can also make it look not quite as smooth as it does in the headset. But I can assure you this is running at a pretty solid 72 FPS. Let me just get virtual desktop overlay up just so you can see that as well. So I did just take a screenshot there accidentally as I touched one of the buttons on the top. There's two buttons and a dial on that. I'll mention that in a second. But you can see from the virtual desktop overlay that I'm running at the bottom there, I'm running at 72 FPS, pretty solid. Now, let me just see. Render resolution says 85%. Okay, so that's interesting because in SteamVR, in the SteamVR overlay, I am running at 100% in there. Virtual desktop on Monster, and that's claiming that I'm using a render resolution of 85%. So that would seem to imply that what I was talking about at the beginning of this video with regards to the barrel distortion correction there is probably like an extra 15% on top of that in order to get a native resolution within the center of this headset. I'd need to look into that a little bit more because I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, I mean, performance-wise, no issues. Very high resolution, regardless, and it's running great. Now, with regards to the two buttons, so you've got a button on the left-hand side here. Sorry. Now you can double-click on these. They'll bring up sort of the overlays, various functions. You've also got a dial on this side, which very much like the Apple Vision Pro, and you can see this headset looks very similar to an Apple Vision Pro anyway. It's obviously been stylized on that, but it's got a dial on the top, like the crown on the Vision Pro, where when you're in standalone mode and you've got a pass-through showing, you can actually move this dial and then change what they call like this immersive mode, the amount of immersion that you're experiencing. So you can see pass-through, move the dial, and then a virtual world will sort of start to fade in front of you, and it's like the background that you have as you're using the standalone mode on this. You can't do it while you're in game like this in virtual desktop or anything like that. It won't do anything there. It's purely for the standalone mode. Yeah, anybody familiar with the Apple Vision Pro will know what I'm talking about when I say that. It's difficult to describe, or it is for me at least. Yeah, so I'll leave it there because I've got a lot of things I want to see what people want to know about this headset. So like I say, leave a comment, but also I want to test a few things more and just see things that are jumping out at me. So just to round up and list off, the plus points on this headset are absolutely image quality for a wireless VR headset is great, especially running at this resolution. Of course, I can't run it at this resolution on everything on my PC, but you know, the Pimax Crystal Super is showing me that I can handle, you know, 4K by 4K per eye in certain titles, this being one, of course. But yeah, image quality is great. Colors look great. The field of view is noticeably, you know, it's not up to the standard of some other VR headsets. It's similar, I would say, to a Quest 3. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to go and test that a little bit more. I don't want to say one way or another. It's very close to a Quest 3. That's what I'd settle on, I think, at this stage. But yeah, vibrant colours, very good black levels, all the things you'd expect from a micro OLED display with these pancake lenses. Edge-to-edge clarity not quite right, but I think that might be due to the fit that I'm getting on my head with this head strap. I just need to really dial it in a little bit more and try to come up with some solution. I'll look into these 3D printed mods by Material Wood to see if I can get something a little bit better with that. Yeah, I think that wraps up just some of my initial thoughts anyway on this.
So I wanted to just briefly give a few more thoughts on this headset since recording that first impressions video, and this was partially sparked by a comment to a post I made a few days ago about my difficulties in getting a good fit with this headset. User Tyke18, who also owns a Play for Dream MR, mentioned that getting as close as possible to the lenses in this headset is vital in getting the most out of the image, and advised removing the soft face gasket on the headset and using a top strap for comfort. I decided to give it a try and can confirm that, in my opinion, edge-to-edge clarity on the lenses using this method is much improved, although my eyes are almost touching the lenses at this point, and without the cushion it obviously isn't as comfortable on the face overall. This might be where the improved 3D printed gasket could come in, reducing the gap between the eyes and the lenses, but also allowing the rear strap to be worn lower on the head. The orientation of the lenses in relation to my eyes didn't seem to cause any issues, which was something I mentioned in that first impressions video, which could be a concern. If Play for Dream can come up with an official solution to the problem of fit and comfort with this headset, then I'm confident it will be one of the best ways to play wireless PC VR. Overall, the quality of the displays in terms of image clarity and colour vibrancy is extremely high. The image clarity, although perhaps not quite up to the standard of the wired Pimax Crystal Super, running at 6200 by 6200 per eye, is still incredible when considering it's running wirelessly, especially with those black levels on the micro OLED panels. The overall build quality of the headset is also very high. It feels far more like a premium headset than many I've used in the previous years, but perhaps for $2,000 or approximately £1,500, you'd expect it would be. A few quick other things to mention as well. The integrated audio is not particularly high quality in my opinion, sounding pretty thin overall, so external headphones will probably be required if that's important to you. Also, I've not mentioned anything about the motion controllers, but they also feel very well made. They mimic the touch controllers in some ways, but the ergonomics might be even slightly better than those for me personally. They work perfectly and feel snappy and responsive. Also, tracking overall on the headset is excellent, and I haven't had any issues in either controller or headset tracking so far. Battery life at this early stage is difficult to gauge, but it's not great, and I need to really make note of that going forward to see exactly how long the battery lasts in this headset. So it does seem to go down pretty quickly, but I'll reserve judgment on that and maybe I'll report back on that once I have more details on it. Overall though, I'm very impressed with this headset. If they could just get over the hurdle of the comfort and fit, then I think it's one to keep an eye on for those looking for a high quality wireless PC VR experience. Is it worth the price over the Quest 3? For some users, I think the colours and resolution increase would be worth it in certain titles, especially if you demand the highest possible image quality in a wireless headset. But I'd need to spend far more time with it to come to a definitive conclusion on that. For me personally, well, I wouldn't spend that much on any headset, as I've said before on other videos. But this one is certainly impressive in certain areas. So that's pretty much it for these. This is just still a first impressions video, although I've added these extra thoughts at the end. I do want to keep on trying this headset out in various titles, and perhaps I'll report back in a forthcoming video. But that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.